Have you ever felt like someone says they love you, but somehow you still feel controlled? Have you ever questioned why their love makes you feel small? Why it makes you second-guess your every move? Why being around them feels more like pressure than peace? What if that's not love at all? What if it's just control in disguise? They say they love you, but you only feel it when you're doing what they want, when you're being who they need, when your thoughts don't challenge theirs, when your emotions are convenient. You're not being seen. You're being edited. You're not being supported. You're being sculpted into a version of you that keeps them comfortable. They call it guidance, but it feels like you're being shaped with force, with pressure, with guilt, with silence, and with subtle punishments for simply being yourself. You start to internalize the rules. Don't speak unless it pleases. Don't feel unless it flatters. Don't think unless it aligns. This is not parenting. This is not love. This is conditioning, psychological shaping, emotional editing, until your identity becomes a mask you wear to stay safe. They need your confusion to survive. They need your compliance to feel strong. They cannot allow your clarity, because if you ever saw what this really is, you'd stop trying to earn love from someone who's only offering control. Ask yourself, why does their love feel like a script you have to follow, instead of a place where you're finally free? You start to feel like you're living in a double life. On the outside, you're the good kid, the one who does what they're told, the one who's easy to parent, the one who makes them look like great parents. But on the inside, you're struggling. You feel trapped in their version of you. You feel like your real self is always being put on trial. If you show anger, you're punished. If you show sadness, you're ignored. If you show joy that doesn't include them, they take it personally. You start to believe your feelings are a liability. You stop trusting your own emotions, because they only lead to conflict, disapproval, gaslighting. They say you're being too dramatic, too sensitive, too selfish. But what you're really being is aware. What you're really feeling is the disconnect between their words and their behavior. They say they love you, but their love has terms, has rules, has an expiration date the moment you start acting like an actual individual. You've been trained to see love as a performance, as a role you play, not something that makes you feel seen, safe, or accepted. Maybe it's time to stop playing the role and start listening to the part of you they taught you to ignore. Eventually, the pattern becomes unbearable. You start seeing the game for what it is. You give, they take. You bend, they tighten the leash, and still they call it love. But you've begun to notice the cycle, the manipulation, the way they create doubt just to sell you their version of reality. They don't want a relationship. They want control. They want your obedience, your silence, your constant search for their approval, because that's how they feel powerful. And here's the truth no one tells you. You could become the most perfect version of yourself. You could hit every target, please them in every way, and it still wouldn't be enough, because it's not about you. It was never about you. It's about keeping you in a state of emotional submission. But something in you is changing. Your body is starting to reject the role. Your mind is starting to see through the lies. Your emotions are no longer the problem. They're the signal that your system is trying to come back online. Real love doesn't feel like anxiety, doesn't feel like performance, doesn't make you afraid to speak or exist or grow. Real love creates room. Room to be imperfect. Room to be honest. Room to be you. You don't have to earn real love. You don't have to shrink to deserve peace. You were never the problem. You were just being controlled. If this hit you somewhere deep, drop a comment and say it out loud. I see it now.